Whenever you think of gaming phones, the immediate phone that comes into mind is obviously the ROG phone. It's got the best performance and gaming features, but isn't a phone that most people can afford. Then you look at so-called budget gaming phones as marketed by other phone brands. They may either have cool designs and low-end internals, or have pretty plain-looking designs and better performing internals. Well, the ZTE Nubia Neo is in between that. It's got a cool looking design, powerful internals, and it's a 5G phone that costs under 1,000 ringgit. This is the budget phone for gaming that I have always wanted to see. Here's my review and why you should consider getting one. The Nubia Neo features one of the most unique smartphone designs I have seen, particularly the war-damaged yellow color variant I have here, which features a Transformers-like design that you might actually think it is a collaboration between the two.
Si Optimum Prime!
The camera rings have a nice gold accent and looks like a wheel. The overall build quality is decent even though it is made of plastic. One thing I wish ZTE has done away is the water drop notch display, which makes the phone look dated, but that's probably one way for it to save costs. And speaking of that, this phone features a 6.6-inch Full HD Plus IPS display that refreshes at 120Hz, which you can't say they are being cheap. The phone has a mono loudspeaker, which sounds pretty average as you would have expected, but you thankfully get the 3.5mm headphone jack for better sound. In terms of specs, the Nubia Neo uses a UNISOC T820 chipset paired with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. The latter unfortunately can't be expanded, but you should have no issues installing several heavy game titles and storing media with that capacity. Now, you might have experienced UNISOC chipsets on many cheaper smartphones and tablets. They are mostly pretty bad at everyday performance and graphics. However, the T820 is different. This is one of the fastest processors I've come across within the category, as it uses 4 Cortex A76 cores as its performance cores. It is very responsive in app and game launchers, and it outperforms the MediaTek Helio G99 and matches the Snapdragon 4 Gen 1. Graphics performance is very respectable, as you can easily run Honkai Star Rail and Asphalt 9 at a stable 30 FPS with medium graphics setting. It scored 2000 points on the 3D Mark Wildlife benchmark with an average frame rate of 12 FPS. But on top of that, the phone has excellent thermals, and I have never found it to overheat even after an hour of heavy gameplay session indoors. The Nubia Neo ships with ZTE's myOS 13 skin running on top of Android 13. There are a few pre-installed games which you can fortunately remove, and thankfully no bloatware to be found. It is overall a clean and reliable software experience that I find no issues in my 3-week review period. It has also received a software update with the June 2023 security patch. But compared to other brands, ZTE sadly only commits to a year of OS and security updates, which can be a deal breaker for some, but despite that, you should still have no problems running most apps and games properly even when it goes out of support. The ZTE Nubia Neo has the familiar 50MP plus 2MP camera setup that we have seen on sub 1,000 ringgit phones. It takes pretty decent looking photos when using good lighting, and as usual, don't expect this camera to do well in low light. The one thing I'm a little disappointed though is video, as the UNISOC T820 chipset is capable of supporting up to 4K 60fps video recording, and ZTE has decided to limit the camera to just 1080p 30fps, which is probably another cost-cutting measure, but it really wouldn't kill them to just give the option of 4K 30fps. On the front, you get an 8MP camera, and it is only good for very casual selfies. The Nubia Neo uses a 4500 mAh battery with support for 22.5 watts fast charging. Though it isn't the largest battery of its class, it has no issues lasting me a day when used moderately and connected to 5G networks. It could of course have been better with a larger battery, but the only thing I wish for is faster wired charging. But that's a very minor issue I'll have to put up with. Overall, the ZTE Nubia Neo is an excellent budget smartphone for gaming, and with all that performance and features, I'm surprised that ZTE is merely asking for 899 ringgit or $190 for this phone, which makes it an exceptional value over the rest considering this is a 5G device. Though it would be great if the company could commit to a better software update policy. But otherwise, you can't go wrong with it, and I recommend you go check it out. So yeah, that's all for my review on the ZTE Nubia Neo. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up, and we'll see you in the next one.